Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm like, welcome to my page. Welcome to your doom. Welcome to going down the rabbit hole, not of your asshole. Okay. Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty-gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, there's something very, very, very important. And these videos are not pertaining to the masses of asses. Okay. If you're sensitive, you're a stick in the mud, you're an NPC, you don't ask questions, you look at appearances as the true value of a person, okay, without knowing who the person is, okay, but anyway, if you have no questions, you have any comments, you have any roast fest, you put that shit down below. What is this again? Alright, you put that shit down below, alright, so the topic for today is the sweet spot for us indigos. The sweet spot for us indigos, or you may consider through the Myers-Briggs testing, INFJs, okay, passively or aggressively. It doesn't really matter. You're one of the chosen ones. You're like part of the 5%ers, 1%ers, yada, yada, yada. I'm not talking to the majority of the rest of you, because your values and your standards are completely cut off from the rest of the world. As a matter of fact, you're not cut off, but you join those people of the rest of the world. You're part of the masses of asses. This message is not for the general masses of asses. All right, since we got that out of the way, I want to make this very clear. So this message is for the sweet spot for relationships for indigos. Though indigos are higher than alphas and higher than omegas and sigmas and everything else, we must protect ourselves from a bunch of, I'm part of the purity culture as well. All right, okay. So people will consider me crazy for me talking this way or being myself, okay, But the sweet spot for indigo children, okay, such as myself and those individuals who do exist, who can consider themselves sinless and also gods at the same time, little g gods, we have to make sure we are predetermined to psychoanalyze every little thing about a person that comes, even our children, we have to psychoanalyze them. You know how stressful that can become. Especially if you're empath and you're trying to understand their logical, emotional ways, which is a combination of things. There are lots of people in this world who are basically emotional, right? And what I come to find out is that you gotta make sure you have to test them to keep this logic in place, because if you don't do a certain amount of testing on any individual, including your women and children or whatever you may believe to be, you will be in a world full of hurt. Okay, like I'm telling you a story right now, which makes me make this story, which made me make this video in the first place. When you're dating women of the opposite sex, for you guys, though it is harder for guys to look for proper, quote unquote, mature women, you guys got to come up with a plan to where you won't get scammed like fucking Peter Pan, right? And then I realized that I'm always giving valuable information on the internet, so I'm trying to tell you how to protect yourself here. All right, I've already told you I get child support in alimony because I kind of figured, I didn't think a virgin wife would be disloyal, but it does happen, and so it has happened. And I'm gonna blame myself on everything, okay? Whatever happens, I'm the bad guy, right? Okay, there's some people, yeah, you're the crazy psychopath. Yeah, we don't want to hear nothing. We know you're crazy. So whenever you're controlling or disciplined and you got your shit together, you're a psychopath, all right? But anyway, when I encounter women overseas, because I only date females and talk to women overseas, unless they live in the Western world and they got some money, okay? If you got money, then we can talk virtually, but we can't get in relationships. When you're talking to women as your potential so-called quote-unquote polygynous wives, okay, and you're looking for virginity, which I tried to teach Kevin about, virginity is important, but they'll call you a pedophile when you say virginity, when you're really talking about of-age women who are fucking virgins, okay, right? When you're traveling overseas, please don't put a lot of investment and money into these women, because sometimes there are women who are, even over there, they have been westernized. Now, westernized is a term which is basically how everything is colonized, okay? Westernized equal colonization, and a lot of times when you have these Western countries, independence is the key element for a woman. They don't understand that they're supposed to be in polygynous relationships from the beginning, so they believe in monogamous relationships. I'm not religious, by the way, and just in case if you might trying to say something here, but when you're trying to test a woman's virtuous ways and her maturity ways and her loyalty ways, and you're testing her psychological ways. You are going to have to go through that. You're going to have to do that. You got to give as little as possible, not a lot, because what happens is that there are some females who wear a mask. They wear a mask, and that mask may I thought my ex-wife, who was a virgin, I lost my virginity when I was 38. So as I told you before, I'm part of the purity culture. So a lot of guys can't compete when they can't do what I do. Okay, I know. I lived in the box when I was a child, but when I went over there and I met my virgin wife, okay, in Ethiopia, lived over there, and I got the videos, I basically said, hey, this is what you guys are supposed to be doing. And what happens is that, you know, a lot of times you may feel that a woman is loyal, but you have to test her. And I did test her while I was in America, while she was in Ethiopia. We was talking for like 5 years. Oh yes, before I even met her. But other than that, long story short is that when you test these females out early with social media, because social media is a very destructive thing for women, okay? Very destructive. When women have social media in their power of their hand and they're in a poor country, you have to understand where their virtues are. You got to understand where their criterias are. You got to understand the value of where they want to put their influences at. If they put their influence on trying to have friends or the opposite sex, and you simply did tell them not to do something, you have to give them instructions. Women need to be taught, okay? Yeah, I'm not saying all women, okay? You know, I know there'll be women who hate me. I know women hate me, and most men hate me too. I don't care, because I know most men are beta males anyway from the beginning. I don't care. Andrew Tates and Kevin Samuels, those guys are just nothing compared to me, okay? Not being narcissistic, not being arrogant. I'm just trying to tell you guys to protect yourself, okay? Please make sure their importance is basically focused on you. And if they don't want to be taught, you have to toss them. They belong to the streets. You cannot save them. Do not, I repeat, do not save. Don't be a captain, save a hoe. Okay? Don't be a captain, save a hoe with a lot of women overseas either. Because a lot of times these women have these stored up, pent up emotions sexually for other men. And you got to check them on that. You got to check everything that they're doing behind the scenes. Okay? If their important values are into socializing, they're not for you. I've given so many phones to women and helped them and assisted them and been a missionary for many, many years, more than most men, okay, right? Even though I'm technically poor in America. You don't need to be ambitious to convince a female that you are the real McCoy. You don't need it. I remember back in my heydays when I was homeless, I saw a homeless couple together, and they said the most important thing is your health and respect and loyalty and compatibility, which is the most, as a matter of fact, compatibility is the very most of what you should be looking for. A lot of times, since we are all human, you have to be non-human to understand what logic is. Okay, most people who are hue, they have certain colors about themselves. They're gonna have tendencies to not be content. They want to try a Dr. Strange or something like that. All right. But that's all I really want to say, guys. You know, you're going to have to test the waters with these females. Don't be going overseas without a guider, okay? Someone to guide you, a counselor like myself. And I told you before, if you guys can't afford $7 to $20 a month, you deserve to suffer. I know some guys are going overseas and they think they can find these women, okay, and they lose touch of me because they don't want no advice. They don't want no advice from an so-called Indigo Alpha guy. They don't want that advice. They don't want that Gen X knowledge. It's too hard for them, right? But as I used to give out phones all of the time to these women, for some reason, they don't tend to appreciate those things. It goes right across the top of their head, right? And you don't want that. You want the things that you give them to be appreciated, right? As you should already know that most women do not know how to reciprocate or return the emotions back to you, okay? Return the emotions back to you that they give. It's fucked up. But that's what you're going to have to do, guys. If you're indigo and you really want to psychoanalyze everything, you have to do those things to protect your emotions. All right? But that's all I really got to say now. I got to go play some basketball today at 5:30. I got to catch these motherfucking bullies and shit. Let me tell you something about bullies. Bullies, you can handle all bullies if you just bring the right crew. Don't never go somewhere by yourself, even if you got a camera or some pepper spray or you got the great equalizer. Don't go places by yourself where you know your energy is not wanted, okay? There may be a bunch of people who are good, but it's always going to be a few bad apples. So bring your crew and try to clean out that yard, that garbage bin, okay, where a bunch of bullies, because I love bullies. I love to see who the fuck they are and then psychoanalyze their asses and take their asses out by either getting them incarcerated or some shit. But I'm like a Charleston White on that shit. I use dark psychology all the time. I wish a motherfucker would, okay? But
Charleston Chew.
Charleston Chew. Yeah, these motherfuckers are just whack, okay? They need that fatherly love, so give them the belt. Right? But other than that, that's all I gotta say, because you know what I say. You know what I say, Chuck? I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan.
Yeah, because that's peanut butter.
That's right. And women spray it like peanut butter, right?
Yeah. You say that on the internet?
Yeah, the women spray it like peanut butter. I got that off a movie once, and I said, "What is that? What's that show called? The Brooklyn Heist? What was it called?" Okay, what was that movie? I got that off the Italians. There was an Italian. He said, "Open the door on one side." I forgot what that movie's called. It was a real popular movie, but I can't think of it right now. You know, what was that movie called where that guy was Italian? He was innocent, and he was talking to these girls, and he said that if the girl don't open the door for you, and that was pretty wise. He said, the girl don't open the other door for you on the other side, then she's not the one. You gotta get her out, okay? Because she's not thoughtful. She's not thoughtful. And the best way to tell if a female is thoughtful for you is if you lock yourself out and she don't do nothing. She just looks at you like, you know, that was pretty cool. But anyway, peace.